we're now going to check that everything is stable in terms of YouTube. We're streaming at 1440p. 1440p 30,000 bitrate. Now this might be ridiculous. 1440p, but just listened and we can hear ourselves, so that's good. Okay, I think everything is fine. Back to files. Open up this one. Okay, it actually gave me a link to watch, so is that the... Okay, it actually gave me a link to watch, so is that the... Okay. I'm just gonna post this. And then... YouTube link, and then this one. Okay, right. Get rid of that one. This one is one of the more important ones, so actually let me keep this over here for now. And then modify. I will drag it onto this monitor for now. I guess I can zoom in a bit maybe on this page to help, but we're not going to do anything from this page anyway. Let me also drag my Figma doc, because I think it is quite useful. Okay, so we have everything open there. Everything seems to be going swimmingly. So here we have the Figma where I worked on trying to come up with a layout and structure that fits in with Portal's limited UI options. And so the main idea is that when you come in, you have your weapons on the left, or weapon category, sorry. Then depending on which one you have selected, it would then list out all the weapons obviously within that category. And then once you select a weapon, it would then provide you a list of the attachment slots, is how we've worded it. So attachment slots here, and then once you choose an attachment slot, I don't have it shown here, but the idea would be that it would then show all of the attachments that are available for that given slot. And then I haven't even started on this part yet, but there would be some UI to show and list all of the selections that you've made. Now, to start with, I hadn't even considered the point limit that Battlefield enforces. So, to start with, we probably won't even consider it. User can basically put any attachment on that they want for every slot, even if it would go over the point limit. So they could build something that's more strong than normal, but maybe this is fine. And so the general idea is that the first part that we're working on is this whole kind of catalog selection and building up of the weapons. Once you've grabbed the weapon, then it would obviously give you the weapon. Then we need to work on the next part, which would be to allow the creation of probably bots, is what I'm thinking, and maybe spawn bots at various different distances, and then have it so we can also track damage, which I think in theory is possible. The idea would maybe be that we give the bots a high damage count, and then we need to just be checking for damage amounts on a relatively quick tick speed, so that we can get the damage of a bullet. But maybe we don't even need to do anything as crazy as that. Technically, as the person shoots one bullet, you could then see how much damage that was, and then once it gets the damage, then probably puts the bot back to full health. But I don't know, we can also potentially try and do like a DPS calculation, but I haven't thought that far ahead, to be fair. So if I just go into game itself and go to community and then my experiences and then gun range and then host locally, we'll just take a look at what exists so far. So right now it's really only the selection of the categories and the weapons, although I only have one weapon added so far. Haven't added others, so that's probably going to be one of the latter steps that I do, where we have to basically manually take all of the weapons and build them out into like some kind of object structure, so that we can then use them in the UI. But for now, then we will just run over to this machine, press interact. Now the colors are a bit funky right now. That's just mainly for debugging purposes. We've got a close button here that we can use, and also we can switch between the different categories. Right now, the way that it denotes that it's selected is the yellow text. You can see right now we only have the assault weapon. So when you click assault, what will happen? So right now you can see we just have some pre-programmed behavior whereby it gives us that weapon straight away automatically. But what will happen is once it kind of switches to assault /M433, then it's going to list out all of the available categories for this weapon, and then you'll click the category, the attachment slot, and then you'll get a chance to kind of go through the attachments and click the one that you want. Then I just need to build out the UI that shows and keeps track of which attachments that you've chosen. So I guess if we just compare, so this is essentially what we kind of designed out. It doesn't look as nice, but it's relatively close. Obviously we're using a font here that doesn't exist, but other than that, in terms of overall layout, it's relatively close. So we did get there. There are maybe some caveats with how you create UI in Portal that I haven't necessarily factored in yet. When you draw UI, you do get to choose who it gets drawn for, so you can provide it to a player, to a team, or I think even global. Right now, this main UI here, it does specify the player as to who it gets rendered to. And I think that's fine, and I'm assuming that all of the child components, child UI elements inside, I'm assuming that those are restricted by the same scope as the ultimate parent, right? But that might not be the case. I don't know, and I can't really test it unless I have other people in to test. So yeah, that's essentially what we have so far, right? So every time I click this, it's going to try and give me the weapon and cycle it out. So if we go back, we'll keep the debug colors for now. But if we go back, before I left off last night when I was working on stuff, I added some to-do list items here. Let me just actually come out of the game for now, because if we want to test anything, we're going to have to reload it anyway. And we can just have the Battlefield background noise there. So first of all, when a person does select a weapon, then we'll need to update the state. We're going to have... We won't need to necessarily set these ones. Well, actually, we kind of have to work out how we want the behavior to be there, right? So if we just go back to the design a second, and let's go to this state, right, where technically it has some selections already made. The choice is, if you click carbine and then you choose a weapon, I guess at that point, maybe that's when everything kind of clears and resets, but not until you've kind of committed to choosing a different weapon. But choosing a different weapon would reset stuff. So that, yeah, maybe that just ultimately makes sense. Let me just check some stuff here. Yeah, okay. So one thing I hadn't accounted for, and I have to try and work out what the best way to do this would be, is this little back button. I haven't implemented that as it stands right now, and I think, do I need to? Yeah, probably. So maybe we just do that first. So I need to think a little bit about how I will do this, because normally if you're on the home page, then the text is all the way to the left, but if we have the back button, then that goes to the right. Now the thing is, did I design it to be the same size? I never, but we can do that. I think that's just going to make sense to do that. So if we go into here, right, and I think, let's see where we have our close button being created. Create UI, it'll be under the header, and then we have main header, and then we have close button here. And we do already have this title name that we have to grab. So in theory, okay, we already have it as a widget, and because we're already updating this, aren't we? So maybe that's fine. So then we need to, we probably also need to add again something like this, but we need to give it a name. So let's actually, let's give it, where's the close button name? So let's just say back button name, and this will just be universal, right? Back button, cool. Then let's go back here, and we want it to be a child of the main catalog area. That's fine. We will, I just want to say back button conditionally show, which by default we'll set it not to show, but then we can update that, right? So 4040 anchor center right. This one technically we want to anchor center left, right? Center left. What was the, okay, it was, let's just do surface color. This dot surface color BGL for 1. Yes, that's fine. And then I'm just going to say close button below, so we can just separate out those. Then we're going to do something similar to what we did here. It's going to be text. It's going to be 4040. The anchor is going to be center left, and the text anchor is going to be center. And then this is just going to be a back arrow, which, to be honest, because it is a character, we can probably get away with it, but we'll do it like this and see if we can change it or need to change it afterwards. So what was it called? It's visible, right? So visible false, and then we will do, we'll do that, and then we just need to basically make this do we need to? Yeah, we do, because we need to be able to set Oh shit. We'll do that, right? We don't need the close button. All of these are technically there. Alright, so that now sets as well. So we create the header and we get reference to those UI elements. We'll keep everything else the same. Text color, do we want to set text color? BG fill none. Do we want to set text color? No, it'll be white by default, which is perfectly okay. And it sets it to invisible false, right? So what we could do, just to make sure nothing has messed up, we'll run build. And then we'll grab our scripts. And we will grab our strings. And then where we go? We go back to browser. Give me a second. Why is this? We'll just close this for now. And then strings. There. Sure. Save. Save. Now, sometimes when you save, it doesn't actually remember it. So usually I have to confirm that something that I added still exists. So in the script, you can see that we try and search for that, it doesn't exist. So we have to copy again, paste again, save again, and we'll check again. Control V, Windows V, label. Oh, of course. Okay, it won't. I'm an idiot. Okay, that's fine. It will obviously get replaced with the string itself, so don't know why I'm searching that. What else can we search? We added this, right? So just double check that that exists. Okay, it does. Cool. Which means if we go back to in-game community, my experiences. We should now be able to just check this out. Let's see. So right now, what do we expect when we go in? We expect basically nothing to change. We've added a back button, but it's not hooked up to anything. And what we'll probably need to do is we'll probably need to add a function to show back button and to hide back button, and then we can use that. And that function will also move that text label that we have by an amount equal to plus 40 plus 16, I guess, right? Okay, so button is actually showing. Is that because... Oh, I see. I see. Can a child have a child? Can a child have a child? We're gonna see if we can do that. Let's see. We've got button name, right? And then can it have children? It can't. It can't have children. Then we are probably better off creating this outside of the header and then just selecting the header as the... Oh shit, what am I doing? I'm doing the wrong one. It's not the close button we actually care about here. Maybe it only exists on container children? Or maybe it's... Let's see, actually. Let's just see what happens. So if we... then we'll say past UI. Let me just actually paste in this, right? And then rid of this. Okay, so children really can only exist as part of container, right? So if I go container. Yeah, you're not wrong. Also, what would you say? Oh, soysome? Maybe? But yeah, you're right. I mean, everything is basically YOLO anyway. So this can have children, so maybe we make this a completely separate element and then just attach to this as the parent. Oh my god. You know what, Graham? I thought it looked familiar. I thought it looked familiar. You're an arsehole. Why'd you have a backwards name? Was Messios already taken? Let's have a look. So, this can have a parent, right? It can. We'll do that then. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've had that happen before. To be fair, where I can't remember what name it was now. It definitely wasn't Gazren. No one's taken that. But I had it on an account, and maybe on Twitter or YouTube or something, and then completely lost access to the account. It was still using my AOL email or something, and which I had no way of getting hold of. Ah. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I think this account isn't the one that I had back when it was YouTube handles and whatnot before they merged with Google accounts. I think it was a completely different account, like GoTanks918 or something. Something completely separate. Trying to think of the best way to handle this, to be honest. I'm gonna just put it in a random const for now, right? And then we're gonna do back button, and then I think I have the paste somewhere. To this one? No. This one? Yeah. Okay. And then if this is visible, we can remove this one because now it's the parent itself. Then does this really need a name? Yeah, it does need a name, but this one doesn't. This one is fine to not have a name. We might not even need to store this because... Well, if we move it, do we want to move the container or do we want to move the child? I suppose we want to move the container. Well, now that we have this container that's 4040, the anchor is going to be center left of the header. We actually don't want this to have any color. Instead, this would be none. I don't even think we need an alpha at that point then, because we've got no BG alpha. Right, so it's false. Okay, we will need to store reference to this because this is the one that we will need to set visible. But we need the back button name as well because we need to reference that. Okay, so let's think about this further up here then. Where do I have it? Main header. We have back button name. We actually have this, so maybe that's all we need. Yeah, okay. This is actually fine. Yes, all good, all good. Bum. 40-40. What do we say? Centre left, right? Centre left is fine. 40-40. Technically can still be centre left. There's also no problem. Could also do, is it top left? Is also fine, I think. VG solid, surface color, alpha, text. And then we got the background. Do we want the UI anchor to be top left? Does it matter? No, center left is center. Oh no, text anchor center. Again, fine. Center left, draw that. Okay, so top left is fine. And then the anchor is center, which is both center vertical and horizontal. Okay, let's just quickly grab this and put it into Portal. And go save. And open up Portal. My experiences. Some kind of gun range, host it, and then we have to wait. It takes a while. Oh, I'm so tired, man. I want to play New World as well, but I was like, this little project's just been grating at my head. I just want to get it to some kind of decent level. I think it'll be super useful being able to try out all the attachments and stuff before you've even unlocked them, so you can see if they're any good, right? Don't think they have really any way of doing that right now. No doubt that by the time I've got this done, they probably already have something that allows you to test it, right? But yeah. Okay, so we interact. And the back button is still there. Now, that might also be because this script didn't update. So oh shit, wrong one. Let's just double check here. What did we add that was new? We did this, right? Okay, good news is that's not updated, so that doesn't mean that what we just did didn't work. It just means that the weirdness of Portal sometimes requires you to do things twice. Why? Oh, shit. I wonder. Well, I don't think this is the problem because this is still using old code. But I wonder if... where's it gone? I wonder if you know how they live in Tokyo. We've got this, and then we probably have it being set again, right? So let's just comment that out. Compile it again. Grab it, copy it, paste it, bop it, twist it, pull it, push it. Try again. We still don't. Is this okay? Like, am I fucking something up? Like, well, let's just actually double check that the built version is correct then. That is correct, and this is commented and copy, and then we'll go here and we'll even make sure. Now we can see this here, right? And let's just actually copy it like for like. Paste. Okay, can see, good. Right, then let's... Okay, this time looks very good. I don't know what, like, I don't know if it's because you have to deselect, like, to kind of off focus, and then it kind of commits it or whatever, but it's just weird. Sometimes, like, you just have to try and save it many times. Okay, host locally. let's have a look. It's weird. It's like just the dumbest things just take so long. Like the amount of time you kind of waste making changes and then having no way to really test them, like quick. You have to basically go in, copy or save, update it, whatever there. Then you have to go load in the game. You have to wait for the server to load. Blah blah blah. Like just pain. Okay, so button is no longer there, which in theory is good for us. Now, the text element, as you can see, in theory spans all the way. And while it shouldn't be that much of a problem, when we make this change, this is going to overlap the close button. So we have to factor that in somehow. I have to see what options we have available to us, to be honest. Let me go here, right? And then what we'll do is I think we have what we need here, really. Find widget with name. Main catalog area header. So I think, oh, maybe I should check that first. I need to make sure that still works. So I need to basically choose a weapon and make sure that the title still can update correctly. Because if it can't, then we need to think a little bit different about how we handle it. Oh, so awesome. Oh, so awesome. I remember back in the day when people used to do that. Who used to do that? Like backwards name. I think Murky, maybe. A couple of others. Right, deploy. Click here. Okay, so it still has reference to this because it was able to update the. It was able to update this top thing to M433. Okay, so that is good to know. And we can probably just get rid of this for now, because now the back button we store as part of creating it, and we set the parent here. So that's just the creation part. Now we have a function for handle weapon selection. What we really want to do is we want to say mod.set UI container. Oh shit. Set widget visible. And we could technically wrap this. I'm not gonna like having this everywhere, so we can just. Do we just maybe check for we could wrap it in, do like this. The other option would be doing the reverse, right? So we check if it's not available, return, otherwise we carry on. Thing is this ultimately a requirement for using? Could be that user gets stuck if they don't have this. But either way, let's just do this way. So we're going to set the UI widget visible, and that's going to be the back button. So this is when a user selects a weapon. Is there a better way of storing this state? We have some state at the top here where we got is open, weapon category, selected category, index, which starts with 0. We got selected weapon ID. Now we're not setting that right now. We're not doing anything with that. Where are we? We're not. Because we. We're just doing some placeholder stuff for now. And then we will... What can we do with this? This is text label, right? So mod dot set UI text. We can only do size. We can't do position. If we can't do position, there's another choice we have. And that is to make the text... That's to make the text anchor to the right side. And then if we change the size, it's going to change the size based on the anchor. So we should be able to move it from the left basically when we resize it. I don't know if position... We've got set widget position. Well, hang on, because this must be a widget. When we store that in a when we store this, it's a widget, and that's because we get it as a widget. Okay, so it can all of this can always be a widget. Okay, so then we can. Where was it? Set widget position, and then we said that it was the size. Well, let's just do an and here then. We want to set the position. What are we doing here, really? Is this... Oh. Is it like this? No. It has to be a mod vector, is it? Yeah. Okay. So then mod.create vector. And it should have 3. X, Y, Z. And then the... X. So let me just double check now that title is 0 position. Where is it? Container. Not back button. It's not back button we want. It's the container header. And then we want... Do we wanted the text? Is this the one we're grabbing here? No. Yeah, it is that one. Position is 0, 0. Okay, so it is this one. So then the height can stay exactly the same. That's fine. And this is now where we pull this out of here. We'll just say toggle show back button, and then, well, actually, let's see what this. If, yeah, fuck it. Then we'll basically do this now. So we'll say if or this, then. And actually, we'll just do this. No brackets. Okay. Out you go. Right, so now we are making sure that... Oh, shit. We want to say if no or if no. Can't update it. Yeah, sure. Header elements. Sure. And then close that one there. Now we are still happy to call this one 0. So it's only the X that changes. We've got... Oh, I need to pee. Drinking too much water. So we're setting the back button to visible. We're moving this one. We're, like I said, we're probably going to see that issue that I mentioned earlier. But for now we don't care. For now we don't care. So we'll probably have show back button, hide back button, and then probably handle back button. Maybe that's what we'll have. So we'll have hide back button. Let's see if it can set it back to its original. No, that should be 16, right? Let's just set that back there. That's basically it, and then we want a handle back button, and we don't know what we're going to put in here yet, right? We also fuck it, we'll actually do that. We'll just do add a boolean here, and then we will if show basically that, else, and then basically that. Get rid of this. I don't do if else's often, but now we've got show back button in a wrapped up thing that should basically set and move our title to its correct position. And then for now, just to make sure it works, show back button true, right? That's what we'll do for now. We'll run builds and we'll test this out. Save. And then go back into the old Battlefield. My experiences. Actually, before we start loading, let's just double check that we have the changes that we wanted. Let me just see if we can find this INSI code. We can. Okay, cool. Which we already saved, right? Yeah, cool. So we can load this. Host locally. Just give it a bash, give it a load, give it a tickle. Okay. So now what we're expecting is when we click this weapon, we're expecting a few things. Number one, it's going to give us the weapon for now and switch to it. But that's just because that's for debug. Colors are for debug. When we click it, we expect this title to update to say Assault/M433. And we also expect theory for this box to push along. Now we also expect that this is going to then overlap this area here. But let's try it and see what happens. Okay, so everything in theory happened as expected. Now we don't have any actual behavior on this back button. I need to work out how I can make it so it actually has some color on hover. But in theory it works. So then we could then just fix the issue of the width, right? So how does the original width get calculated? How did we do that? Where is it? Main catalog area, title name, size is, that's the X, right? We did the main area width minus the, what's the main area width? Where did we get that from? Main area width is just, okay, so that's the main area width minus the padding times 2. Does this have a padding? I think it does. Does it have a padding? This is just the text. This is just the text. But it's not, because it also has the button. The button is red, which is correct. The title is the main area width minus the padding times 2 for either side. -40 for the -40 for the close button. So then we just need to where is it? Show back button. Can we do mod dot set UI widget widget size, and the widget is the title, and the vector is, technically this is correct now. No, catalog width minus the sidebar width minus the heading pattern times 2 minus 40 for the close button. Is this actually possible? Can you get that? Let me see if there's any option to get values there. Mod dot get UI. What would it be? Get UI widget size. It's going to return a vector. Okay, so we can probably do that, right? So let's just say current. Let's just say const current header title size, right? Is this one, and then that's going to give us a vector, and then we want to modify the vector. Give me a second, 2 seconds. Okay. Shit. We can always trial and error this anyway, in a sense. We can always trial and error it. Alright, let's get out of there a second. So we've got the current site. The thing is current... What can I do with that? Mod Is there anything you can do with vectors? Vector. There's create vector. What can we do with vectors? Angle between vectors. Distance between vectors. Create vector. World vector of. And I don't think there's any real definitions. Local vector of. Let me just see if this was used in another script. Get UI widget size. I just don't know if I can really use this. Huh. I can't really modify. I can't really modify the vector, I don't think. I don't know if any of these allow me to do that. A vector down, vector left, vector. Set. No, set vehicle spawner, abandoned vehicles, not common area, no. Backwards, forwards. Right vector, left vector, down vector, up vector. No, okay, then... Good thought, maybe in the future. We just have no way of modifying this vector right now. Like, we can't spread, we can't use it as like an array, I don't think, or anything like that, so... It's like... Yeah, I just don't think we can... Don't think we can really do anything with that. Okay, so... With that out of the question... So we're going to take the size, we've got the new size. The Y we will need to... Oh shit. Yeah, fuck it. The Y we will need to get rid of. And... Well, actually... Get vector. No. And what does it... It just returns a vector anyway, so... Okay. So, and then the height... The height would be like this. Okay. Height would be like this. And then what we're going to do then, we're just going to make some variables here to make things a bit easier to remember. Initial header title size, and for that we are going to say how do we want to store this is the question. I guess we can just store it as okay. Well, no, because this one has -40 as well, right? If we go back up here. It's minus padding times 2 -40. So we might, rather than having to handle this so many times throughout the code, we might want to add a class level property that we can utilize. For now, I'll just say this is const initial header width is that, and the const initial header height is that. Yes, all good. And then we can now use this here to say initial widget position no, that's correct. And then it's for these ones where we create the vector and then we say this still not great, but it is what it is. And then for this one, we just want to say initial header width. It's header title, right? And likewise for this one. And then that one. And then initial header height. Things get messy, I think. Okay, so we set it visible, we set the position, and we set the size. Oh no, the position. The position. I think it's just 0, right? So const initial position equals 0, I think. So then we got initial position plus 40 plus some padding. Yes. And then this one would be set widget size, and it would be the no, not size. Yeah, size. And position would be initial position. Hold on, yeah. Initial position 0, 0. I feel like this one's a bit unnecessary. I think that's it. So how can we test this right now? So we can have, so we have about handle weapon selection, right? So you've clicked the weapon. We're going to show the back button. I'm going to show the back button. Okay, and then maybe we just hook up the back button then, no? So handle back button. For now, we can just say this dot show back button false. Yeah, let's just say for now. That's not what we'd actually go for because this is just updating the text and stuff, but and then we'll do on UI button event. If that's what we're gonna do for now. Build. Go to our script. Paste. Save. This dot back button's only referenced once. It can't be right now. No, it should be twice. Okay, so copy again, paste. I'll just make a deselect event or a blur event just to see if that helps. And then this dot back button. There's 2. Which means we should be golden, so we're going to quit out. It's not doing a real back event right now, but I'll have to work out how I'm going to handle that. I don't really want to invent too many. The back button is just going to have to basically check if ooh, maybe then we need to have a kind of category page state, and then that can be between initial slot, like attachment slots, or weapon view, like attachment slot view and attachment view, and then we could know that we basically can only go in that direction, right? So if you're in the attachment slot view, then we know it needs to go back, basically. Alright, we'll try this. I don't think I'm going to stream for much longer. It's only been an hour, but I am so tired that I can't even talk straight, so I was just trying something out with YouTube, just to see how it went, really. So let's have a look now. Now we're hoping that when we click this, that the back button shows this whole thing moves to the right, and this doesn't extend past the close button. Huh. Okay, it does. It still overlaps. Let's see what happens when we click the back button. Whoa, it actually is that animating? It is, right? That's cool. That's cool. Okay. So we have a back button. It's not perfect. That's simple enough to fix, I think. So at this point we should then be showing the attachment categories. But okay, so I think what we would do is what I just said, which was to have a kind of state, right? So if we go quit, if we go here, And then, oh, wrong one. If we go to the top here, so we got the player state, we got is open, just whether. I don't even overuse this really. Weapon categories. It's just an array of categories. Do we even need to? Can we just do that? We can. Okay, well maybe we actually do just be a bit explicit there right now. I want to say page state, and it is basically these. But I want to kind of put it in the order that I expect. So we're not really going to have category selection because you'll always be on one. So weapon selection is basically the default state. Weapon selection. Okay, and then we can just make sure we check all these, right? So let's now do an initial implementation of that as the last thing that we do before we bounce. So we want to say on select weapon, really, isn't it? So on weapon selection. Well, let's just actually do some of this, right? So we say that this start selected weapon ID equals weapon ID, and we will also, we won't do the rest of it, but what we will do is say this dot page state should now be attachment slot selection, right? And let me actually do something here. So set widget position, widget size minus, I'm gonna do minus this, minus that. Everything else should be fine. Handle back button, so I'm just going to drag everything else up above it for now. And then I'll work out. No, I actually want to copy that comment as well. Okay. So when a weapon is selected, even though weapon exists, doesn't do anything. Otherwise, we set the selected weapon ID to the weapon ID that was picked, and we also change attachment slot selection. For now, we're going to give a weapon. We're going to do it based on the weapon that does get returned, which is here. And we also make sure that we force to it. And we update. Now, this is where we will probably say to do maybe wrap this in a update header. We'll say method because that's technically correct. an update header will do we have selected category? We have selected category index. Is that good enough? Probably is. Probably is. Okay. We'll just call this. We'll just call this initial back button support commit, and we'll just push that. So I am a bit too tired to do more of this. Maybe I do some a little bit later, but it might be off stream. In terms of the next things to do, we now have a back button that we can use, but we'll handle this dynamically rather than manually. We'll have probably an update header function that can get called on handle back button, and also on where would we put that? Update header. Okay, the update header would be the one to choose whether it shows back button. So the handle back button would probably not even exist. Oh no, it needs to. It needs to handle the back button click itself. But the actual updating part, this part would probably be done as part of update header. Let's just update header. And I'm going to say based on current page state, basically this, right? Header. Yes. Okay. So. And then we probably need to add a function for set page. Okay, right, anyway. I think that is going to be me done for now. Like I said, I am a bit too tired. I was hoping to go longer with this, but just going to chill for a bit. So, if there is anyone there watching, thank you for watching. The plan is to try and create a fully functional firing range whereby you can go to a machine, select the weapon that you want, including the attachment, and then get a chance to kind of fire it and test it with recoil walls and maybe some bots to test damage and stuff like that. So the plan is to implement something like that, but it's very much a work in progress. So yes, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I get to do this again sometime. Ciao.